Pluto. There are multiple bids potentially involved, whether it's Tyler Perry, Diddy, or Byron Allen. I kind of want to let you all talk so I can kind of see where you all are kind of with this, because I think this is a very interesting thing that could potentially happen.
I mean, I don't know how to feel because I'm like, I do feel like putting BET back in the hands of a Black person, technically, I feel like would be a good idea. But with the people who are buying it, there's just red flags. With Diddy, though, I'm kind of confused on his idea because he already has Revolt. So I don't really understand unless he's just trying to make that a big conglomerate, which would make sense. But I don't feel like Diddy has done much with Revolt overall, other than maybe like one-offs here and there. So I don't really understand what his vision would be for the brand. Tyler Perry does make sense because
he has
a lot of shows on BET. His movies are on BET. I wouldn't be mad if Tyler Perry bought it. I just really would ask him to get writers, because I do feel like BET historically has always been a space and a hub that I feel like can always do more for Black people, Black entertainment. And after they canceled 106 & Park, I just felt like it's just been kind of all over the place. I feel like 106 & Park was a show that kind of anchored the entertainment, or it anchored the network, and getting rid of it and not really filling anything in its place. And then just the constant reruns of the jokes of Baby Boy and like these different type of movies. So I would be optimistic if Tyler Perry did buy it. I would just ask that he get writers and other quality people that can really showcase Black entertainment. Like, I feel like all of the Black shows should be on BET. Like,
it's almost like the baked in assumption that like, oh, well, we can't have quality here because people aren't going to come to it. And it's like, well, BET's never, to me, really tried. Like, I feel like they've never actually, and I know Henry and I've talked about this for like what feels like probably a decade. Like, BET's never had a consistent news show, even if it's once a week. I think that would be something that would be insanely valuable with the marketing of, we are going to cover the stuff that is not covered anywhere else that involves directly us. That could be a very good show if they just spend time, resources, money, letting it just kind of bake, where every now and again they would be like, oh, let's try something with Mark Lamont Hill, and they would do it for a month and be like, all right, let's just stop. It's like the consistency is never there.
They actually they were recently, I don't know if it's on, but it was like a partnership with BET, and I feel like I saw them only because I work in media and I saw people were hiring for BET and they were doing a news show or whatever. But to your point, they've done news shows before, but it's not consistent.
They just never let them breathe.
And then they never let them breathe. And the thing about it, though, when you work in television, I understand it's ratings and people don't watch, but then I'm just like, who's watching all of this other stuff, though? Like, really, people are watching more of the reruns of Baby Boy than like a different news show. Like, I don't believe that.
Only problem is that for them is that they just don't have to pay those people. Yeah. They've already paid for the reruns. So they said, if we're going to lose money regardless, we might as well lose it with something we already paid for.
To me, that's why BT is like an afterthought, i.e. they get rid of their main like flagship, whatever. The point of case, I feel like nobody has truly, like, when I say nobody, not when it was founded, but as of recent, like, times where I've experienced BET. So let's say late 90s, early 2000s. That was a decent time for BET. You know what I'm saying? They weren't totally bad. It was like that mid 2000 transition. Like after you said, like once 106 & Park like left, and then I think they switched because Deborah Allen, I think that's her name. She was Deborah, my bad. She was always like involved, but then she became like the main person, right? Because she's talking about her story of
that interview, I was
I'm not touching that. I'm letting that breathe.
So point in case, I feel like I just remember all that stuff happened. We can even talk about BET Awards and all, like you can see how when leadership changed and buyouts, all that stuff, like people weren't investing into the company itself, and it just became this like afterthought, and it's like